My name is Baldrick, and this is my very own video diary about my latest adventure with Mr. Blackadder. Cut. Having sorted the opening out, it's time to look behind the scenes at the exciting world of filmmaking. This is the catering wagon, and they've put out my own special lunch. This is Thai curry. You can see all the bits of Thai people in it. This is a ligament. I think it's a thumb ligament. Look, lots of little pink bits of willy. Over here, there's a stew from some sort of animal. Don't know what it is, but it's hamster. That's nice. Of course, I've got special access to all my film friends. Hello, Stephen. Can you say something for my video diary?
Leave me alone, you great mountain of yellow-headed pus! Off! Go away! Go on!
Tim?
Shoo!
No? Mr. Firth, can I...
Hey! What do you think you're doing here?
Oh, hello. We're doing a bit of filming.
Oh, no, don't want to go.
Boy, no, let go! I thought that went quite well, really.
Ulrich, why, may I ask, are you dressed like that?
Would you like the short answer, my lord, or the long one?
Oh, the short one, please.
Whim.
The short answer is whim.
Yes, my lord.
What, out of interest, was the long answer?
It was a whim.
I think Blackadder in the end is based on the fact that Rowan is very good indeed at playing extremely ferocious, tough characters.
You're not eligible to vote.
Why not?
Because virtually no one is. Women, peasants, chimpanzees, lunatics, lords.
That's not true. Lord Nelson's got a vote.
He's got a boat, Baldrick. Your brain, for example, is so minute, Baldrick, that if a hungry cannibal cracked your head open, there wouldn't be enough inside to cover a small water biscuit.
Thank you very much.
As a reward, Baldrick, take a short holiday. Did you enjoy it? Right.
Villains are always more fun to play than good guys. That's a well-known fact. And I enjoy characters who have a vindictiveness in them. I always have done it. In the end, it's just more fun.
Lieutenant, revolver, please.
Oh, now, sir, you really shouldn't do this, you know.
Come on, George, with 50,000 men getting killed a week, who's going to miss a pigeon?
What was fun, I think, was that by the time we finished the fourth series, we'd got a bit into parodying ourselves. We were a bit saying, well, there's always one episode where we do this, or one episode where we do that, and Baldrick always says this, and Blackadder says that. And coming back to it after 10 years, we'd forgotten some of that stuff, so it was a bit like starting afresh, which was fun.
The strength of Blackadder had always been that it was just dialogue in one room, a very witty dialogue. So what we had to do was give it a sense that this was going to be a bigger treat than usual, and I hope we've pulled it off. I mean, because you get all the qualities of the old Blackadder, but on a kind of scale that is like a huge American movie.
What can you see, Borders?
People in very short skirts, my lord.
And the whole reason we wrote this section is to get them in increasingly short skirts. So that's Rowan. And Hugh's going to be, with any luck, 2.5 inches shorter than that. And then Stephen's skirt is actually going to be above pant level. So that's what we spent the last hour rather pathetically talking about, how high boys' skirts can be. And that's the joke from this scene. I think that's it. Although Stephen is talking in Latin. And I think he's finding that quite tricky.
Yes.
Itaque senatus Capiae Britannia revocare et civitatem nostrum imperialem defendum constituit.
You're going to enjoy all this dressing up in skirts and Roman kit, don't you?
They're very attractive kits, aren't they? I think they do. Not as much as the interesting reconstructors who do it for fun at weekends, but there we go. Have you seen them yet?
Of course, you've got to have marched 20 miles a day for a heck of a long time, been in the army for 25 years, fought heavy barbarians and lived on army cooking, and that way you're either dead or you have huge muscular legs. You know, mine are, what can I say, aesthetic.
Then we're having an attack by Scottish hordes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Just wanted to ask why the director picked genuine Scottish people.
Because we're pretty vicious.
177, take 2, A camera.
Action!
Great spirit of Jupiter, our culture is centuries ahead of theirs. Why, we have toilets and wipe our bottoms with vinegar-soaked sponges.
Yes, and they wipe their bottoms with Roman soldiers.
What's unusual about this is that this is on location and is all, there's no audience apart from the crew. But the actual making the series was in. We would do in front of sort of 300 people, and on the night, no matter how carefully you decided to assemble your this delicately drawn portrait of a particular character, on the night, given the fear and adrenaline, I just go ah and pull faces.
Hurrah! Oh no! There I go again! Bravo! Row, row, row your punt gently down the stream. Belts off, trousers down, ears and life a scream.
Fabulous. University education. You can't beat it.
The interesting thing is that Melch is very like Hugh, and George is very like me.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. No, well, there is a difference between Elizabethan Melch, if I had to find one. He's a little bit quiet. I like to think there is.
Looking forward to
from
this.
within.
Okay.
He's rather more suave.
They shout.
Whereas the later Melch it just goes.
Excellent native Cockney wit.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
It's called a clever person's board. These are called clever person's boards, and they are for clever people to read. Pay attention, come on. But my news is Rome, on all sides, is being attacked. Passive, you'll notice. But the Emperor does nothing but poison his mother and marry his horse.
Roll, please. 162, take 7, pick up A camera.
Itaqwe, senatus corpus praedicate laudicate tuus summa subturi locare civitatem nostrum. Do you see?
Did you hear that, Baldus?
No, my lord. Celeberator nihil facesi, nihil.
Sometimes you laugh at things that you shouldn't be laughing, like sometimes Rowan stumbles on a line. And we shouldn't laugh at that, but we do.
Brilliant. Just brilliant. What, oh, Centurion?
We are facing a horde of ginger maniacs with wild goats. No, dash, blast.
Stephen turns up as a Roman in the shortest skirt where his skirt's up here in a nappy. And it's always wonderful when you actually can't call cut because you're giggling so much.
After 3 years of sub-zero temperatures, at last a sufficiently warm climate to allow my wedding tackle to descend from my armpit.
Of course, it can go horribly wrong. It's a pretty mercurial thing, a film crew, and you can have horrible days where nothing goes right, and everyone gets very bad-tempered, except me, strangely. And almost endless patience and love of my fellow man.
Action! Last one there gets hacked to pieces by Rod Stewart's great-great-grandfather.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Is it time for my interview yet?
Well, I've got a few other things to do
I'm
first.
free now. I've got a little window.
It's well absolutely yummy now. It's just like a turd.
Ah, what a pity.
And action!
Ah, Lord Blackadder.
Your Majesty.
Why are you looking so strange? You're wearing very weird clothes. And you're looking rather old and ugly, actually.
It took us forever finding Miranda. We interviewed, it seemed, every woman between the ages of 18 and 36. And we'd written a very shallow part. And Miranda, who's an extraordinary and weird performer, came in and gave it all this strange depth and mystery and violence and lunacy and childishness and stuff like that. So we changed it a lot for her, but cast her.
Belchy?
Ma'am.
Edmund has been very cheeky. Shall I laugh at him, or chop his ugly head off?
I think Elizabeth likes him because he can actually wile his way out of a tricky situation, you know. She sets traps for him all the time.
A present? Yes, certainly, Your Majesty.
she surrounds herself with these court of basically fawning people, so she has a support system. There's, you know, the nurse who can talk to her like she's 3.
Girls are normally called Elizabeth. Or Mary.
And Donald.
Mouth is open, nurse, it should be shut.
That is true, sweet one. I had 3 sisters and they were called Donald, Eric and Basil.
Then why is your name Nursey?
That ain't my real name.
Isn't it?
No.
What is your real name then?
Bernard.
She's just a daft old Egypt, really. And she sits there and she loves her little babby. You know, she's like a mother hen by proxy and all the rest of it, isn't she? Scatological mind, but she doesn't obviously realise it is. It's just it's natural to her to talk about poo-poos and things.
You almost were a boy, my little cherry pip. What? Yeah. Out you popped out of your mummy's tumpkin, and everyone shouted, "It's a boy, it's a boy." And then someone said, "But it hasn't got a winkle." And then I said, "A boy without a winkle? God be praised, it's a miracle, a boy without a winkle."
Melchort's like a sort of, you know, avuncular advisor who is incredibly vulnerable.
Nice try, Melchi, but it's no use. I'm still bored.
Well, I'm very sorry, madam. Your royal father used to be very amused by my impersonation of Columbus.
Built a flat halfway up her bottom. He spent his time flattering her, but also terrified at any moment she would suddenly order his head chopped off because she might think it would look nice on the end of a pike, because she's that kind of a girl.
Grey, I suspect, Majesty.
I think you'll find it was orange, Lord Melchett.
Grey is more usual, ma'am.
Who's Queen?
Majesty, there were these magnificent orange elephants.
She loves to tease them. It's usually the tease of the blade.
Go forth and bring back lots more minty things in the next 5 minutes, or I'll come after you and crush your skull like an egg.
Do you know what an arse head is?
I've got a vague idea, my lord.
Well, someone whose head looks like an arse, and out of whose mouth come things that resemble things that come out of an arse.
Oh, right.
So what are you, Baldrick?
Sounds very much to me, my lord, after weighing up all the forensic evidence, that I am, in fact, an arsehead.
That's right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am sorry. Wait a minute. You're not.
Colin Firth has actually refused to do all sorts of things for me throughout his career. So we thought we'd pay him back by having the shit kicked out of him by Rowan.
It all happened extremely suddenly.
Yeah. That is for every schoolboy and schoolgirl for the next 400 years.
So suddenly that I'm a little bit suspicious of how far down the list of choices I was, really.
I know Colin thinks that he was low on the list, but it was only, I think he was... You know, he was definitely in the top 20, down the bottom of the top 20, so it could have been worse.
Oh, and... Oh, that is for Ken Branagh's endless, uncut 4-hour version of Hamlet. Who's Ken Branagh? I'll tell him you said that, and I think he'll be very hurt.
These are the worst 30 seconds of Shakespeare's life.
Robin by name, Robin by nature. Robin babes of their bras, the rich of their cash, and everyone else in the UK that chance to be the coolest cat in the kingdom.
Maid Marian, we needed someone new, so we thought we'd pick the best-looking woman in Britain, no, the world.
I am snogging Robin Hood.
And then... This is the first thing I've done. I'm just doing it because I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
It's because it's Blackadder. Gorgeous.
Ding dong.
Chaos theory tells us that if a butterfly so much as breaks wind, it could cause a cataclysm.
Blimey, we better be careful then, my lord, because when Robin Hood appeared back there, I let one go that will have killed every woodland creature for 100 yards behind me.
Well, exactly.
Hello, I'm all prepared now.
Yeah, all right. Well, I will come and get you.
Yeah, well, would you like to do it now? Because I could just...
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot. I'll come and get you.
What's happening, my lord?
Well. Oh! The words "oh" and "bugger" would seem to be appropriate.
One of the places in which they find themselves is in the company of this incredibly convincing dinosaur. We could afford a head and a leg, nothing in between, but it's very frightening from the inside of the time machine.
It didn't go up. It
needs to go up immediately in the air as well, so the head's going up too late.
Baldrick is the hero of the day, with a terrifying secret weapon.
My pants. They are a little bit whiffy, aren't they? Sorry about that.
Action, the underpants go in. So 1, we start sniffing. 2, we start going up with the mouth open, and 3, we're away.
Okay, take 3. Okay, and action. All flashing.
Back in. Big bounce. Pull the dinosaur out. Come forward, guys.
Head up a little bit if you can. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and cut. Cut it there.
Okay, good. I've got enough of that.
Good. Very nice.
Well done, everyone. Very good. Very good.
The great joy of doing it for the big screen is to be able to do stuff fantastically. You know, we didn't have many dinosaurs in Blackadder or spaceships or huge rampant armies. So all of that was great fun.
You know, this is not sophisticated humour, but it makes you laugh every single... I don't know what it is about our underpants, and especially if they're rotten, dirty and smelly.
My grandfather loved them so much, he never took them off for his entire life. And then my dad wore them for his entire life, and now I've worn them for mine. And they do have a lovely bouquet. Do you want to have a smell? Would you like...
Can we put something for the underpants to lie on?
Hurry on. Slightly more forward on the O bugger line. Is that possible?
Taking the dampness off them very slightly.
It's very funny.
They're lovely uniform today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I think it works.
The French are portrayed in this scene today as being vaguely effeminate.
That call us weird. Whoopsies.
Action! My Emperor, I, the Duke de Darling, bring news. The English have reached Waterloo. Good, prepare to attack. Very well. So, may I just ask, why do we want to invade Britain in the first place? We invade, darling, because the British think they are so tough. They think we French are sissies. They call us weeds and whoopsies and big girls' blouses. With respect, my Emperor, we are whoopsies.
Reality check. Watch is off.
Watch is off.
Earrings out.
Earrings out.
Willie's in.
Willie's in, Sergeant.
Good. So actually,
Tim McInerney has to do 2 accents in the course of 2 minutes, which is very shattering for him as an actor.
Perhaps we could teach them ballet, and then they will pull all their huge muscles and not be able to fight. Your Grace, the French are approaching.
Excellent. I have a superb plan which cannot fail but results in the complete destruction of the French army.
Oh, splendid. Well, tell me at once, Your Grace, and I'll spread the news to the troops.
Richard and Ben had always written him as Captain Cartwright because they couldn't think of a name that was funny and also characterful, but also believable.
Tim couldn't quite fix on the character, and then Stephen thought of this idea of calling him Darling, which is in fact quite ironic that Stephen should have done, because there was actually a boy at my school called Darling who had a most awful life.
Just popped into my head that he ought to have a name.
All right. I'll deal with this, Darling.
Tim, being a wonderful actor he is, as soon as he... You know, we did a few things of trying out calling him Darling, and Blackadder coming in saying, "Morning, Darling." He just developed a twitch in his left eye, and the mannerism and a whole character was born.
What the hell are you playing at, Darling? Don't be ridiculous, Darling.
Did invent this twitch, which is a nervous tick, really. I mean, he's not even, he doesn't even know he's got it, really. But it does get worse at moments of tension, particularly with Blackadder.
Good morning, Captain Darling. How are you feeling, darling? Cup of coffee, darling? What do you want, darling?
It's Captain Darling to you. Having done it for 6 weeks, it then took me, I think it was 2 months to get rid of it.
There's a lovely and convenient misunderstanding that because Ben has a reputation for kind of knob gags, that it must be me, the quieter of the pair, who is the great historical expert, whereas in fact it's the other way around. I write knob gags to please Ben, because I know they make him laugh, and Ben just couldn't be brighter about history and knows all about it. I don't know that I even know who won the Battle of Waterloo.
Very well, the plan is God, I'm brilliant. You know, I surprise myself sometimes. I really do. The plan is to allow the French to come within 100 yards of us, and then, and this is the completely original and brilliant part. Yes. Then.
I could do my interview now.
That's fine, actually. Don't worry, I will come and get you.
Well, I'm free. I'll service you whenever you like.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thanks a lot. Just my movie out there.
No, you do not now?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You know, the great shortage in our industry is writers, rather than people who can perform funny stuff. There are lots of funny actors about, very, very few funny writers, or very, very few writers with whom one feels a personal and professional empathy. And I feel it obviously fantastically with Richard. You know, whenever I read anything which he's written for me, I just want to do it. I know I can do it. I know it's right for me. I know it's appropriate.
He has a kind of, I would say, as a musical attitude to his lines. He kind of knows, if they're properly written, exactly how he wants to say them, exactly what the rhythm of a line is. He has perfect pitch. He can get the perfect delivery.
Right, Baldrick. Let's try again, shall we? This is called adding. If I have 2 beans, and then I add 2 more beans, what do I have?
Some beans.
Yes. And no. Let's try again, shall we? I have 2 beans, then I add 2 more beans. What does that make?
A very small casserole.
Baldrick, the ape creatures of the Indus have mastered this.
It's therefore quite frustrating for him, because when he doesn't quite get it, he won't accept it, whereas many other people would say, well, that was pretty damn good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest breakthrough in travel since Mr. Oh, hello.
Rowan has heard the perfect tune, and so when he gets a syllable wrong, it's like a flat oboe in the corner of the orchestra. He just can't live with it, and he's horribly distracted by having made a tiny mistake.
Yeah, my suggestion would be that actually, Tim, you sure don't expect us to leave them like actually kind of march forward.
We've always made a lot of changes in rehearsal, because you know, the standard set by John Lloyd was that we should try and make every single line as funny as we could.
Over his head! No, I mean it.
Ben writes in a very focused, punchy manner, and he writes very well, you know, for the kind of, you know, characters and attitudes that I think I can present.
You look sweet as a little pie.
Kate, he looks like what he is, a dung ball in a dress.
And the same dread hovers over the moment when you reach one of those stupid similes, and he goes, I'm as stupid as, and you think, oh no, this is going to take me an hour and a half, and Ben's going to say it's not funny.
God, you really are as thick as clotted cream that's been left out by some clot until the clots are so clotted up you couldn't unclot them with an electric declotter. Aren't you, Baldrick?
This is as exciting as discovering that, due to an administrative error, the new boy in the dorm is actually a girl with a big chest, a sense of adventure, and no pants.
Okay. Action. Run, take 2. Take 3. Take 4. Take 5. Well done, Baldrick. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Okay. Well done, Baldrick. Well done, Baldrick. I'm so proud of you. I'm going to give you a wage rise.
Thank you very much, my lord.
Well, perhaps not. Oh, no. Well done, Baldrick. I'm so proud of you. I'm going to give you a wage rise.
Thank you very much, my lord.
Well, not all year, obviously, but, you know, at Christmas time. Well, perhaps not extra money, but, you know, some chocolates or something. A chocolate. After I've had a little nibble of it myself.
Thank you very much, my lord.
Good.
Yeah. Jimmy, now?
Yeah, okay.
I'm really excited about this.
Right, great, okay.
Do I look all right?
No, absolutely fine.
I'm smart enough?
No problem at all.
Can I tell them that story about Stephen Fry and the thermostat?
Yeah, I'll give you a cue when we're all ready.
Funny.
Okay.
All right.
Right, are we running?
Speed.
Okay, go.
Let joy fill every Briton's heart, for now our country's going to make it. At last, a king who looks the part. At last, a queen who looks good naked. Blackadder, a monarch with panache. Blackadder, he's got a nice moustache.